ever wondered what all the specs mean on your fishing rod? Well, today we're going to discuss all the details with Chris of Prolite Rods and really get in the weeds about what everything means on your fishing rod and what you need to look for when you're actually shopping for your next rod. Hi, my name is Jamie Peth with Anglers Unlimited, where we help you catch more fish and have more fun on the water. If you like videos like these, check out our website, jump into our email list, or follow us on social media, and we'll give you the latest tips, tackle, and tactics that we use to catch fish. If you're in the market for a custom rod build, you need to pay attention to this interview. Chris is going to walk us through exactly what he looks for when he's building a rod for somebody, so you can make sure you get the custom rod that you really are after. So let's dive right into it. Well, hello. Thanks for meeting on a Saturday. Your shop looks good. Looks different from the last time I saw it.
Yeah, thanks. Like I was saying before, it's hard to try to get everything dialed in with still building rods at the same time.
Done a lot since I was there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Are those finished product right here, or are those in process?
Yeah, these ones are all finished rods. Trying to keep a little stock going at the same time.
Right on.
And and then obviously we do all the build to order.
So who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
Chris, Prolite Rods, and we build all kinds of fishing rods, all the way from salmon, steelhead, saltwater, getting into the bass and trout a lot more with that, walleye, of course. And yeah.
Where are you located?
We are in Tumwater, Washington.
Awesome. So what made you decide to take the leap into this business? Tell me the story.
Well, for one, fishing is our passion. It's what we love to do. Guided for, this was year number 10 up in Alaska, and realized that wasn't exactly how I wanted to be a part of the industry. And I found a new way to do it, building fishing rods, getting to meet people and get them the rod they need for the technique they're trying to do.
Cool. Where in Alaska did you guide?
Lake Creek Lodge.
Awesome.
North of Anchorage.
So what do you love most about fishing?
Two things. One is the take. Love tricking the fish. That's the best part for me. Once you get that bite, you got them. That's the biggest part. And then the second part is figuring it out. What can you do to trick them,
Sound like a river fisherman.
Yeah. Well, or get them to eat. How you want to do that? However you want to say it. But,
yeah.
It's there's a lot that goes in. You can't just jump out there in a boat and think you're going to catch fish, or jump out there on the bank, or do whatever you want. You got to put a lot of effort into it and learn it, and then you can be successful with it. And that's the fun part about it for me.
It's all about the chase, right?
Yep, exactly.
And you don't always win.
No. Often
Usually you don't.
Right.
So if someone wants to buy a rod from you, what does that experience look like?
Well, we like to be personable. That's the one thing, we're a small business. So it's not just go order a rod or go to Sportco and order a rod. You get to work directly with us to get exactly what you want. So call us up, figure out the rod that's good for you first, and then figure out how we're going to make it special for you.
So I want to get a new Downrigger rod, kind of like this one right here.
Right.
We have no idea what to start with.
Well, yeah. There's a few options. I mean, you get to first pick out which kind of style you want to fish. Let's see if I got one down here. Nope, I don't. I sold out of them. Well, yeah, you can do your typical casting rod in the build that way, and we can tweak things around, and we got a Downrigger series as well, which brings the reel back a little closer to you, gives you a little comfier fore handle. And then you can also do mooching, which is what a lot of guys are doing. They're doing a mooching setup for Downrigger. Once you pick the style you want, then you go to length. Yeah. So what you got there is your typical casting setup.
Casting. What makes this a casting setup?
So it's your typical casting setup because it has a casting reel on top. You got a short foregrip and a longer rear grip.
Okay. What do you recommend for someone who wants to buy a Downrigger rod for salmon fishing up here in the Northwest?
I mean, that's a great start right there.
This one?
That's where you want to, yep, that's where you want to start out.
Cool.
Yeah.
What other decisions do I have to make?
Length.
Okay. So what's your range for a typical downrigger rod?
9.6 to 10.6.
Do you guys recommend something specific?
You know, if you got a bigger boat, you got some room to work with, a longer rod, then yeah, that's definitely a better choice. It loads up. It has a lot more cushion to the rod. There's a lot more to work with. If you're in a smaller boat where you don't got room, where you're going to end up high sticking the rod trying to get the fish in the net, then you go down to that 9.6 and make it so it's a little manageable.
I like the 10.6, so glad to hear that I chose correctly.
Yep.
How about when it says like 3/4 to 3 ounce? What does that actually mean? What does that refer to?
When we're in the downrigger world, it really means nothing to us. That's what that is that's actually a lure casting weight. It's what weight of lure is going to cast the best with that blank. A lot of it has changed over to where they're actually doing more of like a troll weight. You'll see that where we'll go like 2 to 12 ounce or something in that, and that's more of hanging weights, like banana weights, things that you're going to be hanging off the side of the boat. That's why we made that switch to that, because it really doesn't pertain to us and those rods and how we build them.
Cool. So is that kind of an industry change, would you say, or just specifically for this type of style?
Yeah, it is. It is changing in the industry just for these kind of rods, though. The fact that they're more of a troll rod, they can double over to either hanging weights or being loaded up in the downrigger.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What about the 12 to 30 pound line?
Line rating. So
tell me about that.
Yeah, that's another little myth. Everyone uses that as power. It's actually not something to judge. I mean, you can sort of, but it's not how you judge the power of a rod. It doesn't mean that you can't use more than 30 pound line in there. Again, it's a casting line rating. It's what's going to cast best for that rod. We as an industry have kind of used it to judge power. It tells us exactly what we're going to be able to do with that rod. You know, the 30 pound means it's got a little more butt to it. You're going to be able to pull on that fish a little more. But you know, like another good range for a downrigger rod is the 10 to 25. It goes a little lighter, loads up a little better, and then still got plenty of butt to pull on a fish.
Okay, so the heavier number just says it's a little bit stouter on the
back end. Yeah, that's how we've kind of changed it to use it. Yep, exactly.
Cool.
At the Cork.
So then heavy and medium heavy, when they're labeled like that, is that a totally different metric?
Yeah, so that's power. That's what you actually want to look for when you're looking for your power. It will kind of go hand in hand with your line ratings, and that's why it's been used to where we can use the line ratings. But that's what you want to know. You know, how much weight do you want to hang if you're using banana weights? If you're on the downrigger, you know, how much you want to be able to pull on that fish. You know, I like a lighter rating myself. I like to get my butt kicked. I like to play with the fish and have some fun and let it run and wear it out before I get it to the boat, rather than and feel the whole fish, let it bend all the way to the cork. Not everyone likes that. It's totally up to the angler and what they're doing. Okay.
Another thing you mentioned, you said casting rod is a common one for downriggers. What was the other one?
Mooching rods.
Mooching rods. Okay.
Yeah, I got an example of that.
Yeah, show me the difference.
Yeah. So mooching rod, in fact, I might even have a reel around somewhere. So you go a little shorter on the back end. It's more of a spinning reel seat because the reel actually hangs down. I could grab a reel. I got one up there, but then a long foregrip.
Got it.
And then it would be held with the guides down rather than the guides up. It's you throw basically a large fly reel on the bottom that has drag, so you can still load it up in the downrigger, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio. 1-to-1 ratio reel.
Fun.
Yeah.
Tell me what 1-to-1 ratio means.
It's one crank, and that's all the line you get in. And with our casting reels, we got like a 5.6 to 1 ratio. It's kind of somewhere in there, depending on the reel. They're all different. So you do one crank, you only get one spool's worth of line that you're picking up.
So what do you prefer?
Personally, I do the casting. The mooching is becoming a really big thing where everyone's getting into it, and we sell a ton of them. We've been building a couple of them and doing it ourselves, and it actually is a ton of fun.
Yeah.
again, like getting my butt kicked. Well, there's another one. How about you can't pick up line fast when that fish is running at you. Now you got to stress out and reel as fast as you can, Not that we don't already, but just adds a little
With
more
a
to
one-to-one.
it. Yeah. Make it a little more sporty, I guess, is the idea.
Do you guys build anything for heavy, like halibut, lingcod, anything like that?
Yep, all the above. We got some really cool stuff in the lingcod, or even just vertical fishing, going with a much faster action, basically a stiffer rod. Makes it so you don't have to work so hard to lift the jig up and down and get that action going. And in some of the near shore stuff, like 200 feet and less, we got some really cool stuff that's a really light setup. So you're not holding up that big, heavy rod and reel. You're fishing for the lighter stuff, which, a lot of times you're in sea bass areas, same areas as you can get the lingcod, so it doubles over real well.
Cool.
Yeah. Tuna rods, that's coming around here very shortly. Got lots of those. Different options in those. Of course, we like to play with colors and all that fun stuff.
So there's a couple of things I hear debate about. One is cork versus graphite.
That's really
Carbon
smooth
fiber.
and slick. Yeah. It's really smooth and slick, and a lot of people really didn't like that, so it didn't take on very well. There's a new carbon fiber out that's actually a woven carbon fiber that is over top of foam, and it's got nice grip, it holds heat. It's a really nice product. It's really starting to be pretty big in the industry. There's a lot of people building with it. The one reason why I'd say the carbon fiber edges out cork is it's going to last a lot longer. It doesn't get tore up in your downrigger tubes or rod holders or all that stuff. But the cork the traditional way, you can't go wrong with it. There's still the quality of cork's a little harder to come by, but there's still some good stuff out there.
Awesome. What about aluminum reel seats? That's another thing that I see around, but not on every rod. What's your opinion on that professionally?
They're fancy. They look nice. Yeah. Honestly, I've actually seen a few come back in the salt. They're not the best choice. They do corrode a little bit. But with good care, you're not going to have that issue. Just like you'd rinse your reels off, rinse your boat off, you still got to rinse the rods off too. And that'll help without that. And then they're just fine. They're fun. Cool.
So if someone buys a rod from you, you'll really just customize it to exactly what their preferences are.
Yeah, we got a build we like to do, so we try to stay within those parameters. But you want to pick out colors, do that kind of a fun thing, put a sticker on there, says your name, something like that. We can do that too. Yeah.
Awesome. What is your number one tip for successful salmon fishing? You can interpret that however you see fit.
I don't know. I guess the first thing that comes to mind is trust your gut. Spend time where you think there's fish. Don't waste your time in an area you don't think there's fish. No, I don't agree. Bagel says stick and stay, it'll pay. I don't agree. If you're beating the dead horse, then time to move on and go somewhere else. But that's my opinion on it. Two different styles. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's reasons to say sometimes it's not you're seeing fish on Finder. That happens all the time. You're in there at the right tide. There's a good reason to be there. Things like that. It's not just seeing fish. It's trust that you're actually fishing for a reason. Don't waste your time. You gotta make your time effective and efficient.
What do you like to fish for most? What species?
Ooh, gotta go back to my roots on that. Gotta go back to my roots on that one and go steelhead. I like being in the rivers chasing the steelhead. Wintertime, cold, frost in your guides. Can't go wrong with that. Yeah.
And best fishing story ever.
Oh. Oh man, there's so many. I gotta think of a good one. I'm not a good storyteller either. So should have gave me this one beforehand. I could have thought of a good one.
Yeah, I want to know on the fly. What do you think of?
Let's see here. I don't even want to go like good fishing days because those are memorable and those are fun, but it's almost the ones where you're spending the time on the water that's more fun. Getting to that point where you get the good days.
It's a hard question.
I know. So what was that? It must have been like 19, something like that. We went summer steelhead fishing on the Wainuchi. we stayed up all night on July 4th, went out the morning July 5th, and dog tired, or back trolling for him in this one slot, and I was sleeping as usual. I'm good at sleeping and catching fish. So the rod went off. My buddy Nolan Davis starts yelling at me, "Wake up, fish on!" Grab it, row off to the side, fighting it. Well, it got wrapped around a stick on the other side of the bank. And he's like, "No, we're going to get this," because we worked hard all morning. We hadn't got a bite yet, and this is the first one we got on. "No, we're going to get this." And he waded all the way across the river. Maybe not the best idea, but still did it. Went all the way across the river, reached all the way down. Shoulder was in the water. Reached all the way down to the stick, was able to break it off, and then fish was back on. I turned around, ran up the bank, got the line tied again, and we ended up getting it in. But that was just one of those times where where you think it's gone, there's no way you're ever going to get it back, and all of a sudden it changes real quick. So it was fun.
It was still there. That's determination.
It was still there. Yeah, exactly. We weren't going to lose that one. We finally had our chance.
Those taste the best too.
Oh yeah, for sure it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I have one more question for you. Why did you start Prolite? I mean, there had to be a reason that you were like, let's get into rod building, like, and specifically rod building over anything else that we do in this industry. Like, what is the why behind what you guys do?
The why, it's not exactly the why, but it's the how. I'm a commercial electrician by trade, and I was on a service call to change out a ballast, and I went to this place, and it was a guitar shop. Nash Guitars, actually. They're local here. They're actually only a few blocks away from us. And it was this small shop that started in a garage and worked into where they got a pretty big shop now, like 3-4 bays wide, shipping nationwide, got a pretty good name for themselves. But I went in there and I could just see it. Like, they had all their different, like, how do you want to say it? The way the whole manufacturing process all laid out in the different bays, and I could just visualize it as rods. And I was like, I could do this. This could work. This would be fun, you know, the way to get in and do my passion and what I love to do and be a part of it, you know.
So you just ordered your first set of blanks and went for it, or?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Trial by error. We built a lot of rods now. We're over 1,000 rods probably at least. Yeah, well over 1,000 rods. We're going for the 2,000.
I love it.
But yeah, the first 300 were a little rough. We still got them around. They've definitely come a long ways, but it was you change things, you learn, you build them, and that was the best part is not overthinking it. Just do it and learn from it, and make it better every time.
Well, I'm grateful you did. I love your stuff, and actually most of the people we fish with fish your rods as well. They're just, it's fun to have something different and that really feels good when you're fighting a fish. So really appreciate you jumping on here to chat today. And where can people get a hold of you or find you? What's the best way to get in contact with Prolite Rods?
ProliteRods.com is the best way. Contact information's on there. Come find us at the shows if we get them this year. That's one thing we love to do, and get in to be able to chat with everyone and show you what we actually have, so you can get a feel for it. Because that's all it is. You got to feel it, get it in your hands, and really understand what it is.